everybody. There's always a delay, so I wait just a little bit. Welcome to my urban homestead again. We are 5 days out from the gardening and self-sufficiency workshop. We had to reschedule because of inclement weather last week. Crazy severe thunderstorm on Saturday, so that was not happening. So sitting here, looking at my shastas, looking at my kale, got a bunch of garlic, I got all my grapes and tomato plants and whatnot, my tree full of nectarines. And what did I do today? Well, probably wondering, what the heck do you do on a homestead? Well, it's not glamorous work. So if you're thinking you're going to be out here making all kinds of cute videos and being real glamorous, it's not all it's cracked up to be in that way. But it is very satisfying and fun and interesting and fulfilling work. So if you're into that, then hey, that's great. So if you think it's going to be all, rainbows and unicorns, it's not. It's a lot of work. It's dirty work. I just mucked out my coop. The girls are happy. They're getting a whole bunch of cherries today, sour cherries. They're happier. But that was dirty and gross. What else did I do? Oh, I had to climb on top of my greenhouse today and patch my giant hole. I should show you that before I lock up. What else did I do today? Picked a whole bunch of rhubarb. I pitted a bunch of sour cherries. I'm about to barbecue for dinner and start locking up everybody and everything. It's a beautiful and strange sunset tonight. We've had really strange skies here in southern Ontario. I don't know if it's because of the BC wildfires or what, and we're getting all the smoke and whatnot, but it's very, very strange skies indeed. We're getting like very glowy white skies and things. Tonight we had like a hot pink sun. It was strange. Here. So I had to patch this up from my 20-foot limb that fell from my oak tree. That would have impaled someone and killed them probably if it hit someone. So yeah, it's not for the weak of heart, I'll tell you. It was very hot and sweaty today. So I went on top of there and had to patch it from the top. See, I've got one layer of vapor barrier, then I've got another layer of bubble wrap, and then I've got another layer of vapor barrier. So I had to patch it from the outside. It was hard to get in with that tuck tape. Everything was sticking together. It took me about an hour to do that little patch job, but it's done to my satisfaction. If I lived somewhere that was not snowing heavily, like here in Canada, I would be less worried about that hole, but I had to make sure that it was very sealed and I feel comfortable, especially since I've been putting my exotics in the greenhouse over winter, and that already makes me nervous. I'm constantly looking at the thermostat and making sure everything is well. If I see that the temperature gauge starts dropping quickly, I run out there to make sure that the heaters are working. I always have a heater or two on backup, just in case one conks on me, which happened last year. So I've learned my lesson, but I was prepared. I foresaw that happening. So now I have two on deck to make sure that we can handle that cold, yeah? So yeah, a lot of handling weeds today. I had to haul a lot of wet mulch, which was very heavy. It was a lot of work. So yes, homesteading is not a glamorous job. However, the ease of mind that it gives you, the peace of mind that it gives you, that you have your survival food and you are going to be able to make it through with the medicines and the food that you're growing, is worth all of it. When you look into the eyes of your child or children and the rest of your family, you know that you will be able to provide for them and that you're not going to go hungry. That's important. And if you're sick, you have backup plans. Here, look at all my beautiful grapes. Got a lot of grapes. And I have a harvest like none other this year. Hopefully they don't get eaten like they did in years past. Here's just one of the, my goodness, the leaves don't want to cooperate. Here, a bunch of huge grapes. Look at this, gorgeous. I'm gonna have to get up on a ladder this year. We've put in between us and me and the neighbor, we've put up this big, beautiful privacy fence, right? Which is great. And look at how the grapes have grown up. So we both get a great harvest, and they can get them on that side, and we've got them on this side. It's a beautiful thing. Plus, it gives you a really nice green wall. It makes you feel like you're in a Garden of Eden for real. It also gives me a lot more space to grow up, so that's nice. Yeah, so we're 5 days out from the gardening and self-sufficiency workshop, and I'm excited. And it didn't happen last week, but all things happen for a reason. I did get a lot of housework done that day, which I needed to do as well. So that it all works out, and I needed a little bit of a rest. I had been going hard last week. So that being said, make sure you check out jahealing.com online, or go to their Instagram or their Facebook page and pre-register for the workshop. Now you can sign up for one class or any one of the classes that is coming up. It's going to be 5 consecutive weeks coming up here in a row. And you can sign up for one or all of them. If you sign up for all 5, I believe they give you a nice discount, and all is well in the world. We're going to go over permaculture. We're going to go over all kinds of survival gardening, how to grow food, how to grow the food that you need, the medicines that you need, maybe just changing your ideas of how you're growing and what you're growing, when you're growing, and why you're growing. Yeah, so many things to cover. I love talking about it. I could talk about it all day, as all of you know. Here's some of my apples. This is my 5 variety apple tree. Look at these gal. Look at these beautiful apples. Hydrangeas. Those are for the pollinators. Look at my fig tree. Happy, happy. Hopefully we get some good figs, and we have a prolonged season to get the figs. Although I bought a hardy Chicago fig this year, a little tree to put in, and I just looked at it. I haven't put it in yet because it was so hot I didn't want to transplant it yet. So I looked at it. It has 5 figs on it, surprisingly, and they're already like halfway grown. So that's pretty surprising. These are, I believe, don't quote me on that, my parents planted them back in, over 20 years ago now. But I think they're mission figs. That's what Mom thinks that they are. And they take a lot longer to ripen. So sometimes we get a good harvest, and sometimes we don't. So the ones that don't quite get to ripeness, I do pick, and we eat them green. You eat them as a vegetable, as you would a vegetable. So I freeze them, or I put them in a soup or a stew, or I make something else with them. And that's all fine and dandy. You don't have to waste them. But I'm excited about my Chicago hardy fig. That's supposed to be a good variety for our hardiness zone, which is a 6, by the way. We've been bumped up from a 5B because of global climate change, which of course is not real. It's funny. They're funny, man. Anyway, yeah, a lot of extreme weather here in Canada. We have strange skies. We have all of a sudden we'll get a ton of wind. All of a sudden we'll get a ton of rain, and then we'll get a really, really hot days. So yeah, you just have to roll with it. That's all. Make sure you check us out. Come join us on Saturday. It's going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes, I know, right? Climate change is real for real. I mean, I witness it. I see the things that I'm able to grow now in Canada that I wasn't able to grow before, that reseeds itself and comes back surprisingly. And yeah, there's a lot more things I'm able to plant now. Just opening up that one zone for us really changes things. I mean, you have to make lemonade with your lemons, right? So global climate change is not great, but for us, I mean, that does open up some other windows of opportunity that we never had before. And we still get to grow our, the things that need to be in the temperate zone. It's crazy, right? Normal earth changes, apparently. Yeah, I don't know if it's normal, but either way, it's happening. You can't deny that it's actually happening. We feel it. We see it. We experience it, especially if you're working outside and you're working in the garden and you're working in the soil. You see it. Yeah, that's what they say. It's cyclical. But I'm sure we don't help the situation either, right? We've done a lot of damage, and we've caused a lot of it ourselves as well. But hey, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do, and you've got to survive through it. And that's the point of survival gardening and learning to work with permaculture, perennial plants that will come back in wherever zone you're at. So it's important for you to do a little research and plan your garden out accordingly. It's a way to pack a lot of food in a smaller area. Again, I'm not on a farm. I'm in the suburbs. My neighbors are there. I have a pretty nice lot, but I've pulled everything that's not productive for me. That I'm not working for things that don't work for me, especially grass. Bye-bye, grass. You're not doing anything for me but causing me work and to spend money cutting you and fertilizing you and making you look happy. I don't have it in me anymore. So if you're not making me medicine or food, I'm not doing it. So yes, permaculture, that's what we're going to talk about, survival gardening, basic things, how to make soil, what kind of soil. If I can't eat it, I don't grow it. Amen, Sherry. That's what I'm saying. I'm not growing it. It's not happening. Unless it's a pollinating flower and makes me happy and makes the pollinators happy. And then we need them, right? So other than that, if it's not edible or medicinal in some way, shape, or form, yes, it's not happening. But I have learned a lot about our perennial and hardy weeds, things that people call weeds that aren't even weeds. In fact, I just watched a show yesterday on pokeweed. All this time I thought pokeweed was the scourge of the earth. It is poisonous and you're not supposed to eat it. I know you can't eat the berries, you can't eat the roots, and you can't eat the flowers. However, if you prepare the leaves properly, you are able to eat those leaves. So you want to pick leaves that are nice and healthy. Make sure that you have identified that pokeweed plant. But they grow huge. In fact, I've got a ton of them that I haven't even pulled yet. I pull them all the time. And now I'm thinking twice. I might keep one really nice, healthy one in a place that I'm not growing anything else. Look at this monstrosity. This is pokeweed. And they are very healthy and very happy. Look at this. So the important thing is when you pick them, wash them well. Secondly, you want to boil them in a lot of water for at least 10-15 minutes, right? Boil them. Then you're going to pull them out. You're going to rinse them thoroughly. And then you're going to cook them again to at least a simmer, okay? Right before a low simmer for at least 10 more minutes to break down any of those chemical compounds that are not good for you. Now, if you eat pokeweed raw, you can die. Your child will die, your animals will die, an adult will die. Can die. I shouldn't say will, can. You really run a risk doing that. So you have to make sure that you prepare it properly. But apparently, it is one of the more tasty wild greens. Look at me, I've got dirt all over me. See how glamorous I am? No makeup, no nothing. Apparently it's one of the most tasty greens. And you know what? They used to actually can it. They used to sell it in stores canned. They used to have people forage it and bring it to the factory, and they would process it and sell it canned to the grocery stores. So pokeweed is definitely edible. It's used to be one of the most popular vegetables in North America and Canada and the US. And we've kind of lost the art of foraging, and we've lost the art of knowing what to do with these plants that grow hardily and perennially and robustly here. So make sure that you're using that. Do your research. See what's growing in your yard as a quote-unquote weed. A weed is just a plant you have growing where you don't want it. Most plants out there are medicinal or edible, and you just have to figure out what they're for and how to prepare them. And then your gravy. And you know what? They're very tasty. And you can count on them. They will come back. Purslane, my amaranth sees itself. I just have a sea of amaranth. Also called callaloo, also called pigweed. So pigweed, people hate it and they think it's the scourge and they pull it out of the yard and whatever, but it tastes like spinach. You can eat it raw. I would limit your use of eating it raw though, but you can eat it raw. It's fantastic cooked as greens. It's great. You can use it to roll and make wraps. You can saute it. You can put it in soups and stews. I use it for so many things. In fact, all summer, look at this. I just have a sea of it. And this is just part of my yard. This is the green variety that I have. On the other side of the house, I've got the red variety and some other fancies that I've started. These will seed themselves. They have a zillion seeds in them. Purslane is delicious. Yes. Really? They sell at $3 a pound? Well, heck, I could pull 3 pounds. I could pull a pound of it in about 5 minutes in my house. Purslane's delicious. It's very lemony in flavor. In fact, here's some right here. My mom had some today. I used it last night in one of our soups, and it's quite tasty. I like to use them when they're about this size or less before they start seeding and flowering. However, you can also save the seeds and put them where you want to. You know what? They also have a number of varieties of purslane with different colored veins, and other plants that are related to it that are edible like this as well. A little bit lemony, vegetal, kind of celery. It's crispy. It's juicy. It grows prolifically. I have it here on my path. I've got it everywhere. And you know, I used to pull it religiously and be mad at it and cuss at it. Now I'm happy to see it. It makes gardening, sorry, I still have this dirt, makes gardening so much less stressful. When you know what you've got there, it may be a weed, what you used to think was a weed, and now you're just happy to see it. I'm happy to see these things come. I'm like, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Makes me happy. Canadian clearweed. What else? All this burdock. All these big leafy greens. Edible. Super edible. They're one of the first things out in the spring. They make me happy. They're delicious. They're highly edible. What else am I looking at? A whole bunch of stuff. Lamb's quarter. Don't be mad at lamb's quarter. It's one of the most nutritious plants around. And you can cook it like spinach. It's delicious. What else? The lady's thumb is a medicinal plant. I have it growing everywhere, and I literally would spend like days pulling that and cussing it out. Plantain that is highly medicinal, and it's edible. And I literally would take a whole day and pull it out. It makes me so mad that I wasted my time in that way and wasted these plants that are trying to give me a gift that I didn't understand. And that's basically the problem. We don't understand. We haven't done the research, or we're close-minded. And we have a common way of thinking, and common in not a good way. Just what people typically think. We have to step outside the box, and we have to look at things a little bit differently when you're doing permaculture. But they also keep the other weeds out that you don't want, i.e. grass. To me, grass is a weed. It's a weedy thing. It grows rampantly, and I hate it because it doesn't do anything for me. I can't do anything except my dogs eat it here and there. But I see when they have more opportunity to forage other plants, I see them taking advantage of them. So when you only provide your dog with grass in your whole yard, that's what they're going to chew on for digestion, because that's all they have access to. But I do see them choosing different plants. It's almost like they're able to revert back to a wild state, and they know that's what I want, that's not what I want, and they kind of seek out those specific parts of the yard, and it's interesting to watch. But yeah, anyway, I'm talking about a lot. Tune in. Come join us on Saturday. I'm excited. And I'll share, I guess, what I'm doing tomorrow. All my glamorous jobs. And I hope you guys are champions in your homes, on your homestead, in your kitchen. I'm about to go cook some steaks after a well-deserved day. All right, we'll talk to you soon. jahealing.com, Saturday. Join us.